PEP, Philip Alexander, in the run-up to the local government election that is going to be held on August 14th. Mr. Alexander, good morning.
Good morning, Marlon. Thank you for having me. Thank you to all your viewers and listeners around the world.
Of course. Well, Mr. Alexander, I've been reading some of the articles concerning the local government election, and also with the introduction of your party into the politics. And I'm also seeing an article here where it is quoting you, and you're also saying that you were humbled by the turnout, by the support that your party has been receiving.
Yes, I think a lot of us were surprised at what happened in Macquarie. We had our first big public meeting, a presentation of candidates at the Center of Excellence. We packed the hall, and we, being a party that can't command CPAP workers to attend like other parties can, all of our people were genuine, authentic people who wanted to hear what the Progressive Empowerment Party had to say. After that meeting, we had a public meeting in Diego Martin in Westmead's car park, packed the car park. I think we had something on Friday going on Arapita Avenue, and a very good turnout for that. I think it's a good sign. We have some support on the ground.
But what is responsible for this? And I want to quote you. You're saying, we the people of TNT can no longer accept politics as usual. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, we live in a country where you and I and every single person who's watching this show suffer at the hands of failed politics through our collapsing infrastructure. We have roads that literally falling apart below cars. Last night, somebody from Cascade put out a video where his car fell into a collapsed piece of road down to the bumper and raised the back wheel off the ground. He couldn't move, he couldn't reverse out, he couldn't go forward. We have floods and we have no water in our taps. That contradiction seems to escape the other two major political parties, and the Progressive Empowerment Party believes that the actual voters in Trinidad and Tobago want a change away from recycled politicians, contractors that seem to benefit regardless of which party is in power and still get no service.
Yeah, I forgot to finish your comment here. You said it is killing us, the politics, right? So my question is, Mr. Alexander.
But could I answer what you left out?
It is killing us. Go ahead.
Your substantive media profile is another show that deals with the issues of crime and murder, the fallout from a lot of violent crime in this country. We live in a country where the head of the Customs and Excise could have told a Joint Select Committee that they've not had a manpower improvement since 1962. That we have a situation where 3 police commissioners have told this nation that the majority of illegal guns, drugs, and ammunition come into this country through the legitimate ports. Then we get a report that says more than 50% of the 20 and 40-foot containers that come into Trinidad aren't scanned, they aren't opened, they aren't looked into. They come off the ship onto a container and leave the port. We get a report from inside customs that says there are certain importers that have certain people that are responsible for putting their shipments on a list that never get checked. And none of those things have worried us as a nation, where there are 40,000 illegal guns on the road and people dying, and instead of dealing with it at the source, we're continuously reacting and trying to deal with the criminals when it is easier to stop the flow of guns and then empower the police by giving them incentives to go and pick up all those illegal guns.
Yeah. So I think that the impression that you have been giving at your political meetings, Mr. Alexander, is that things are broken in Trinidad and Tobago, and your party is intent on fixing it. So if you are successful at the polls, what can we look forward from your party?
Well, I mean, this is a local government election, so at the end of the day, we have every incentive to prove to the public how government should work. Because we've not yet held national office, we have the 2 years between the local government election and the general election to prove what government could do. We've been fixing stuff. People know us for delivering at the ground level, and given the opportunity to have state funding and the authority of local government office, we would be able to get a lot more done. Basic infrastructure is what local government is responsible for. There's a backlog of approvals in the spatial planning aspect of Trinidad and Tobago. A lot of people benefit from connections where regional cooperation approvals are concerned and things like that. We want to address all of that. At some point, we want to pull down the influence of those who are able to manipulate government to their benefit, to other people's disadvantage. These are the things the Progressive Empowerment Party has been putting its voice to for all these years and will continue to. And if we get the opportunity at office, we'll absolutely make a difference there.
Yeah. Is it your view that local government has not been working well for the people? And what are your views also about local government reform?
The local government reform that they're promoting is really band-aids for a system that does not work. If you go back in time a little bit, you'll realize the local government system that we have was actually set up for when there was going to be a federation of Caribbean states, and that all the governments would be present in wherever the lead state was at the time, and it was supposed to be Trinidad to roll it out. And then all of the 10 other countries would have a local government system responsible for the delivery of daily goods and services, what the British call clothesline ordinances, the delivery of goods and services where infrastructure is concerned, water, drainage, regional corporations to give approvals where national infrastructure development is concerned, roads, sidewalks, water, the important things to the daily life, spraying for mosquitoes and other vermin. But in our situation, it has not worked. We do not get a delivery of goods and services. The Progressive Empowerment Party has suggested that in lieu of that, why don't we replace it with something that makes more sense to the model that we have? Our regional health authorities do not work. Our police, how our police command centers are set up, you know this, they do not function. We have a lack of seamless communication. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes to abolish all of that and replace it with something called a constituency board of supervisors, where all 41 constituencies would have a board of supervisors made up of supervisors, public works, public utilities, education, healthcare, and security that could be funded at budget time to take care of the business of that constituency for the next 12 months. We can't change that in a local government election. Most we could do in a local government election is, within the limitations of the system as set up, try to get as much done as possible, and where possible, demonstrate to the public why local government doesn't work.
I see that you have also called for a fixed date for the local government election. Why is that? Do you feel that for the smaller political parties, they could be disadvantaged because of not fixing a date?
Well, I want to say that the biggest victory that the Progressive Empowerment Party is taking away from this 2023 local government election is that we can no longer be called a smaller party. We've presented 29 candidates at the last general election, and based on the support and the following we have, I think we're bunching with the cows. Calling for a fixed election date is because others have an unfair advantage. Even if your people know the date and they have the most amount of integrity in the world, there's nothing to stop them from pre-booking venues, pre-ordering shirts, pre-screening people, because they know that something is coming. Resources and time are lifeblood of political parties. So where you put your resources, your time, your money, is what is is coming. And if you know a local government election is coming in 6 months, you'll start to work in that direction. All of us should know, like in the United States of America, there is a fixed election date. So the trains leave the station pretty much all at the same time. We get about 2 years of campaigning in America. It's a big place. Trinidad can benefit from having about 6 to 8 months of pre-election campaigning as everybody jockey and posture to get into position. And that would go a long way to benefiting the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not just the political parties. Because if you look outside there now, you will smell the sweet smell of pitch. The sweet smell of pitch as the potholes that have been ignored for almost a decade are getting paved. Where I live, there were holes that we in the neighborhood fixed repeatedly ourselves and were surprised to come home and see pitch on the road. That means they know where the potholes are. And that if they have incentive, they will fix it. So if they know that within a year, people are going to be able to vote them out, they will be doing that a lot sooner, and maybe we would get a lot more representation for it.
Ms. Alexander, why partner with the Reunited Farmers Alliance? Because I think that there may have been the expectation when the opposition leader called for smaller parties to join her party. You're smiling. That could be a dangerous smile.
I want to suggest you use the term other parties. Carry on.
Right? So why not the, well, as I said, specifically, she made this call for the smaller parties to join her, but why the Reunited Farmers Alliance? Or was an overture made by your political party towards the UNC and things just didn't work out?
They met with us. They met with us first. Tim Gopi Singh, we both acknowledged this publicly, that we met a couple of times and we chatted, but it was never something that the Progressive Empowerment Party was interested in going forward with unless there were accommodations that could make a difference to the lives of people, and we would have campaigned on that. We would have said, this is the oversight. These are the changes. This is what our significant party partner has agreed to. None of that was on the table. They just wanted to get people together to look like it was support so that they could win. And whatever their political strategy, and I wish them well, that's not the role and the purpose of the Progressive Empowerment Party. So we weren't interested in that. In fact, we weren't interested in partnering with anybody. People visited us from all the parties, and we were open to conversation. But the only political movement, when they became a political movement, because we've been working with the Reunited Farmers fighting for the VSEP issue, because I don't know if you're aware that the farmers, the ex-county workers, were given a VSEP package over 20 years ago, and they accepted it, and the state never honored the VSEP package, which is pretty much state fraud. But we're not so much bothered about the issues that they have been functioning under the form as a political party, and they've had their constraints. We wanted, because food and food independence, food self-sufficiency is such a strong pillar in our politics, it was a natural fit. And as is our relationship with Devika Thomas and the rest of the leadership of the Reunited Farmers. So when they formed a political party, it was an easy fit.
Yeah. And
I understand they're surging in Central, so I look forward to them winning that corporation.
Yeah. Also, I suspect there was some level of excitement, but also anxiety over the past few weeks when people saw the reintroduction, as it were, of Mr. Warner to politics.
It's an unfortunate thing to speak about. Jack Warner is a polarizing figure, and you can't escape that. You also can't escape what we've all learned actually took place at FIFA. You can't, as a political leader in the country, one of the parties in the country is famous for saying, you can't be half pregnant. You can't say that you're fighting crime and then you're going into relationships with people who are wanted by the FBI. You can't say, go and clear your name, but when it is convenient to you, in your desperation, you want to jump into bed with them, name uncleared. I think that is a challenge to ethics. Jack Warner as a person, I don't have a problem with. Jack Warner's introduction into politics, especially to the UNC supporters who are being told, hold your nose and vote. That's what don't tote vote means, you know. Don't tote vote means don't think about the things that your mind is telling you that is obviously wrong. Just vote anyway. And it is a challenge to people's personal integrity, especially parents who are trying to raise children right in a country trying to be so wrong.
Yeah. Ms. Alexander, as we move, of course, we only have a few weeks now before the August 14 local government election, but what is the message that your party has been spreading on the ground as you visit communities across Trinidad?
We will keep our word. We've kept our word. We've kept our word always. We have a strong reputation when people do not have somebody to turn to, they turn to the Progressive Empowerment Party that we deliver. We are telling people, give us the chance. And I make a joke and I tell people, there's nothing like a horn to make a husband or a wife bring home chocolate and flowers. Pawn the PNM and the UNC with the PEP. Give us local government election. Give us the opportunity. If you vote for us, if the country wakes up on August 15th and the Progressive Empowerment Party has won and the United Farmers Alliance have won all of our districts and corporations, two things will happen. One, we who have incentive to show that we can deliver, so they will give us the national election, we will work very hard to deliver to them. But the second and really most important thing to a lot of people who support the PNM and the UNC is all of a sudden, you will see those same people that you keep saying, I just only see them at election time, and they just only do things at election time, will all of a sudden have plenty motivation to see you all the time now, and to deliver all the time, because they have real competition, who will not be taking money from the contract mafia, who manipulates and motivates both of those parties. So the people will win. If the Progressive Empowerment Party and our partners, the United Farmers, win, the people win.
Yeah. The campaigning for your party continues this weekend coming?
Feverishly, we are on the ground every day, every night. I've been sending pictures from Pinal, Debe, from Yarrow. We've been yesterday, the day before we were in Cedrus, 2 days ago, yesterday, we were on the ground from Morva, Beetham, Lavantil. We were all the way to St. James. We started in Charfleur. We are not taking this lightly. We're telling the people, overvote. Don't think comfortably that the PEP might be winning. Come out and go and vote for your PEP candidate, because make sure that every single vote that could get into that box, get in the box, so the box could lean orange. Yeah. And Malan, I want to thank you for all of these questions. I keep expecting something to hit me, because I'm not accustomed to the media giving me such fair questions, and I want to thank you very much for that.
Well, Mr. Alexander, I'm in the same boat, you know. I thought, you know, some strange things could have happened this morning, but I guess both of us we're on good behavior.
I think this was a pleasant surprise to all of us.
Philip Edward Alexander, it was a pleasure speaking with you, sir. And let me tell you, we are going to be speaking a lot more, I suspect, over in the run-up to the election and after the election, yeah? So until then, I
look forward to that. I thank you very, very much for having us.
Yes.
Because when I speak for the followers and the supporters of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And thank you very much for this very fair interview. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day. I do look forward to the follow-up interview.
All right.